Hi everyone, and welcome to the wrap up for the end of week two. Apologies for it being a few days late. I will normally try to get them out on the Friday of the week. But it would basically be a wrap up of some of the readings and some of the key concepts for the week. Now, I know that some people have found this week in particular a little bit overwhelming because it is introducing you to the models and theories of leadership, and there are so many. So, what are the important takeaways for you guys? Well, number one is not to stress too much about trying to remember it all. There are a lot of theories, there are a lot of models, and there is no need whatsoever to feel like you have to memorize them or you have to know them all. You can still get a fabulous score on A1 without memorizing all of the models. So I think that's really important to note. What it's trying to do is present you with all of the variety of models, but you will take away your own sort of personal experience from that. And what I mean by that is you've already built up your own, I guess, teaching philosophy or your own sort of beliefs about education from what you've learned in your degree so far, perhaps working environments, pracs. You've already formed this idea of what you value within education. So when you read about these particular models, there's going to be things that stand out to you. And they're going to stand out to you, I suppose, either in a negative way, because you will say to yourself, oh, I remember when I worked for so and so and they used to do that and I really didn't like it. I didn't think that they worried about the kids. I thought they were in it for themselves. And you're going to have that negative experience and you're going to sort of tuck that away and think, these are the sort of styles of leadership I won't want to adhere to. But hopefully, as well, you'll also bring away some really positive experiences. And perhaps with things like transformational theory and distributive theory, you will bring some real positives from that. And you'll say to yourself, what can I do to perhaps be a leader that embodies some of these really good qualities of some of these leadership modes? So don't feel like you have to memorize them all. We do have some great readings this week from Rod, who is the author, I suppose, of our quote. And it's really great because she has a look at leadership through that early childhood lens, which is really important for us because we don't want to be looking at leadership in general, and we don't want to be looking at leadership, I suppose, through a more, say, corporate lens. Because we have these little people in front of us, and because we have to always be making decisions which are in the best interest of the kids that we're taking care of, we have to do things differently in education. We have to have our kids at the center of all of our decision making. So what does that mean for us in terms of our assessment, for example? So something I just wanted to mention as a little good starting point, which could help you with A1, is this table from the author of our e-text, which is actually in the Rod reading for this week, where she breaks down roles and responsibilities, the skills and dispositions versus admin and management, which I'm sort of going to lump together for the purposes of me explaining right now, versus leadership. So you'll know that one of the first things you can start doing if you want to start writing your essay, if you want to start building, some ideas and having a draft and taking some notes, is that you need to define leadership, and then you have to define management in terms of skills and dispositions. So she breaks it down for you quite nicely in terms of what the expected skills are. Now you can see straight away that now we understand that things will sort of connect and overlap. We're not saying that leaders have a totally different skill set to managers, and obviously you can explain that there is the overlap. Obviously, we want all three of these people to be organized. We want all three of them to have excellent communication skills. But then you can see the difference where things like communication skills, staff supervision and support, marketing, promotion, assessment and evaluation of programs and staff, organization of documentation, correspondence and filing follows policies and procedures precisely, versus the delegation, research skills, advocacy and lobbying, liaison and marketing, policy formation and analysis and critical thinking. So it's much different the formulating of policy and connecting to the idea of advocacy and being there for kids and connecting to this sort of pedagogical leadership that we're going to look at in week 3, which focuses on, if we're looking at child development and educational research, how can we bring that into the workplace as a leader, versus the dispositions, which are those inherent qualities that people have that could make them perhaps a good manager, or a good leader, or perhaps both. So different in terms of things like we can see here in our leader, we have got enjoys challenges, visionary, empowering, articulate, adaptable. So you might have a look at this table and you might start to piece together what your definition of leadership is, what are the skills and dispositions of that particular person versus a manager, and what are their particular skills and dispositions. I'll see you in week 3.